We're filming this conversation just over a week after the death of Dr. Ian Paisley, a key unionist figure in the Northern Ireland conflict and its peace process. And I'm joined by Jim and Maureen Wilson. Jim, you once spoke of the impact of Dr. Paisley upon you, saying, "I listened to him off the back of coal lorries and listened to his every word when I was 17 years old, like a lot of young loyalists did in those days. We saw him as the saviour of Ulster. He finished nearly every sentence with 'no surrender,' which was music to our ears when Republicans were running about doing what they were doing." Can you take us back to the Northern Ireland in which you grew up? Where did you live, and what was happening around you that shaped your understanding at that time?
Well, to start it off, I lived in a wee street in East Belfast called Glenwarry Street, which was off the Woodstock Ravenhill roads. The Ravenhill Road would have been where Paisley's church was. I was born about 200 yards from where Paisley's first church would have been. In those days, I remember reverently a lot of Catholic lads and girls and all living in the streets in the areas that I lived in. And in them days, even through the 12th and 1st of July, there was no real hatred against those people that lived there. There was no sectarianism in the sense that, other than the 11th of July, we collected bonfire wood as kids and that in there. And the young Catholic lads done it with us, played with us and done all sorts of stuff. And you know, only in '69, when the troubles started to sort of manifested, I started to realise that, you know, there's a difference between me and that guy across the street, because that guy is a Catholic and he doesn't believe in what I believe in. And I mean, you know, and as a 16, 17, 18-year-old lad, we were more interested in running about. We had a young gang at the time called the Woodstock Tartan, and we run about as the Tartan, and we had all sorts of friends in that. And we were more interested in girls than we were in violence and the other stuff that was going on. But once the troubles kicked off, then it redirected people's minds towards each other, sectarianism and hatred, and that all started to flow through what we had heard out in the streets and what was going on, and the shootings and the bombings and the murders that had started the impact on us. One of the things that I do remember in the very early days was the vigilantes. My father and my brothers and Maureen's father and other people became vigilantes. People who would normally not have engaged or involved in anything were vigilanting because they didn't want their areas invaded. Because I think on both sides of the community, this was the fear that the Catholics were going to invade the Protestant areas and the Protestants were going to invade the Catholic areas.
And so there was a huge culture of suspicion that developed, presumably.
Suspicion and fear.
Yeah.
Suspicion and fear. I think that the stoking up of the fires by politicians on both sides of the community was something that a lot of us in them days didn't realise was being done. You know, we were